Good morning, good morning. Or should I say good morning, good afternoon, and good day? We'll just wait a few minutes and then we'll get started. All right, I think we can get started. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a joint webinar hosted by Odyssey and Astronergy, titled Explore Astro N7 PV Panels, Solar Project Case Studies, and Supply Chain Solutions across Africa. Delighted to be your host today. My name's Justin, the Vice President of Procurement Solutions at Odyssey Energy Solutions. I'm also joined by Emmanuel Kumuyi, who's the Technical Sales Manager for Astronergy based in Lagos, and I'm based here in Johannesburg. So we're both spanning Africa. It's good to be here. Just a few admin notes before we begin. If you have questions at any point throughout the presentation, please don't hesitate to ask them in the Q&A chat box here in Zoom. We will likely get to them at the end of the webinar, not throughout the presentation, but don't hesitate if you have any questions whatsoever, and we'll make sure we address them at the end. Also, many of you will ask if this presentation is available, and the answer is definitely it's available. It will be available both in recording and in presentation format through links from the Odyssey Energy Solutions website, and we'll post those links in the chat box so you can access them at any point following this webinar. And of course, if you hear anything that interests you today, please don't think it has to stop here at this webinar. Just contact us and we'll get in touch and make sure we answer any questions and have a conversation about anything that interests you, both Emmanuel and I. So before I hand it over again before I hand it over to Emmanuel to get into his side of the technical discussion today, I wanted to share with you a little bit of background about Odyssey and some of our solutions. So Odyssey has supply chain credit solutions and services, which are designed to lift the nightmares of supply chain and overall support your business and make businesses more efficient while offering credit solutions. A little bit about Odyssey. Odyssey is the largest climate tech platform that enables financing of distributed renewable energy projects globally. So we only focus on the support of distributed renewable energy projects. That means anything that's not utility scale. So we are a team of industry professionals working with top-tier banks, fund managers, development finance institutions, DFIs, green banks, IPPs, EPCs, and OEMs. So no matter where you are in the ecosystem, we work with you to ensure you have a more efficient supply chain. How do we do that? Well, we do that through overall the acceleration of capital deployment, which can increase ROI and help all stakeholders in a project or in a focused market achieve economies of scale. So we do that closely with working with financiers in our credit offerings in particular, but also supporting financiers with our supply chain capabilities, which we'll discuss shortly. We also work with equipment manufacturers, mainly OEMs, but also their authorized distributors across different markets. We have over 30 OEM partnerships, a number that we will increase to over 50 in the new year. And we've worked with a number of OEMs, more than 60 OEMs on procurements, and have varying degrees of engagement with them. Obviously including Astronergy, one of our leading OEM partners across Africa. And then ultimately, we work with solar energy companies, solar companies, who are the main beneficiary of Odyssey's solutions, both supply chain as well as credit solutions. And at any stage of a project, we can work with work with one of these key stakeholders. We have a global presence. We've expanded this year to new markets, including Brazil, India, and Mexico, and we're very excited to really go deeper into those markets into 2025. But it's been a major milestone for Odyssey to expand to these new markets in 2024. But our home turf, so to speak, is still Africa, and we have a lot of projects and support in the ecosystem throughout Africa, as particularly relevant to this conversation today. And our three core markets across Africa include Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. Some stats about Odyssey. We have over 3,000 companies on our platform. We've deployed more than $2.3 billion on our platform. Of course, most of that is monies from development finance institutions as well as private capital. We've deployed more than 2.5 million systems that are many of which are being monitored on our platform. And we have co-partnerships with more than 50 financing programs, many of which are across Africa. And as I mentioned, we have partnerships with more than 30 OEMs. So getting into some of Odyssey's core solutions, so we found that there's a big need to have both credit for the procurement of equipment, which usually constitutes as high as 60, 70, 80% of a project cost is actually related to the CapEx, so the equipment of a project. So we've identified a clear need for credit associated with the procurement of equipment. And so we have a solution specifically for procurement of equipment, but we also have a matched set of services called supply chain services, which are designed to make the entire procurement process easier and more efficient. So on the credit side, our solutions designed to free up working capital in credit solutions designed to be anywhere from 1 to 2 months up to 12 months. This is off-balance sheet lending in that it's a credit extended for the equipment specifically. So in a typical structure, Odyssey still maintains ownership of the equipment, whether it's in our warehouse or it's actually at site of a client. So legally, we own the equipment, and so therefore it's off-balance sheet lending, and I'll get into more of those details shortly. This is on-demand lending, so we can be very project-specific and have a very short turnaround on our credit solution, as fast as 2 to 3 business days. We have flexible repayment schedules, which can be bullet repayments at any time. So a solar company is not stuck to long tenors of loans. And there's no additive to existing borrowers. So there's little requirements to kind of being paid out first as a borrower, as we are the equipment supplier. Therefore, our solution is designed upon being paid as the CapEx supplier in a credit arrangement. So it's quite a unique offering versus other credit solutions available in the market. This is, of course, matched with our supply chain services capabilities. So this allows for robust procurement decisions from solar companies in particular. So understanding the solar pricing landscape and technical landscape, working with people like Emmanuel to make sure that Astronergy's PV solutions are understood, the warranties are understood, the performance guarantees, etc., which can complement our credit. Whereas if Odyssey is the purchaser of the equipment, we facilitate the entire transaction and can bring it to your doorstep as a representative of Astronergy. So all of that supply chain services and decision making about your procurements are tied to this solution. By always adding one order to another order, Odyssey is able to achieve economies of scale. We call this also aggregate procurement. So even if you're the largest EPC or developer across Africa, your orders plus another company's orders are always bigger than yourself. So this allows Odyssey to serve the distributed renewable energy sector by negotiating better pricing and framework agreements, as we have with Astronergy, to ensure that unlocks economies of scale for everyone. Even a 200 kilowatt project could benefit from pricing that was negotiated against the backdrop of 20 megawatts, for instance. And overall, by utilizing our supply chain services, there's a global network of forwarders and logistics partners that are able to be leveraged. So let's get into a little more details of some of the points I discussed. So our credit facility is broken down into both what we call procurement credit as well as construction credit. So construction credit is a credit solution for procurements of equipment. Think panels, inverters, batteries, the core equipment of projects. And that can be extended up to 12 months. So in this 12-month period, you can, of course, procure the equipment, get it to site, install it, and collect your milestone payments. Even if it's battery energy systems, which may have a longer production time, the repayments can be made within 6 to 8 months, even if it's a 3-month production period. We offer credit amounts up to $5 million against a deposit of at least 15%. There's processing fees involved, which look a little different by region, but safe to say average around 1.25%. And then there's escrow of the payment receipt. So perhaps many of you are involved in the Nigeria DARES program, which is currently launching in Nigeria. So this is a program in which Odyssey is heavily supporting for this type of credit. And we ask that a joint bank account is created with the developers that we work with. So repayment is made directly from the grant to Odyssey and the company locally. And that's how we get repaid for the equipment. As I mentioned, repayments can be milestone-based or bullet repayments. And then credit is the fees are only charged on the credit remaining of the balance. And as I mentioned, approval time is very, very small. For construction credit, around 7 to 10 days. For procurement credit, around 3 to 5 days. So shifting now to procurement credit, the key differences between the two is that there's a lighter due diligence requirement for procurement credit, but it's only available in select markets, mainly Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, and there must be versatility in the equipment that's being procured. So those details are looked at on a case-by-case basis, but I think it's safe to say if there's any Astronergy procurements for standard PV modules or the modules we're going to be discussing today, they do qualify for our procurement credit solution. However, the equipment under procurement credit versus construction credit is actually the collateral. So under this scenario, we do not allow the equipment to go to the site to be constructed, which is why we call it construction credit in the former. But for procurement credit, it has to stay in our warehouse, and that equipment serves as the collateral. And then that equipment is particularly relevant to, let's say, distributors or EPCs that want to do back-to-back arrangements with their clients. And we'll hold that equipment for up to 6 months. So some more specific things that these solutions offer is on-demand credit matching. So for cash flows, so matching your cash flows actually to project milestones. Off-balance sheet lending, as I mentioned, there's no surety, so we don't ask for personal guarantees from the founders or business owners. There's flexible repayment schedules, which can be done on, let's say after 2 or 3 months and 8 months versus a monthly repayment schedule, which is quite unique, and it's designed for the sector. And it's a hassle-free, quick turnaround in terms of qualification for qualifying for the credit, and there's attractive rates and terms. All of this, I should say, is in addition to the innate supply chain solutions that are offered with the credit. So in addition to a credit of around 1.25% per month, there's a small one-time processing fee around 1.25% as well. And included in that is the entire supply chain solutions of the Odyssey team, where we'll get equipment in from point A to point B, depending on where the country is going. And that's a good segue to kind of some of our procurement solutions. So we work with leading tier 1 OEMs, many of the names you would see here, of course, including Astronergy. And we offer supply chain support from specialized staff within the Odyssey team that have a lot of experience clearing and forwarding equipment, offering benchmark pricing so companies can make robust procurement choices. Let's say, what is the FOB price today per watt of panels? Also happy to say that Astronergy is always some of the most competitive pricing available in the market, especially for the quality received. And then there's real-time visibility of order tracking throughout the entire supply chain process. So some of the benefits on the supply chain side of this is price and timeline benchmarking, as I just mentioned, warehouse stock management, particularly if you're making use of the procurement credit solution of Odyssey, where we do handle warehousing. We maintain a global presence, as I mentioned, so we can even help you in your market expansion, so it doesn't have to be limited to a specific geography. We have robust ESG reporting on the OEMs and suppliers that we work with, which is increasingly an important topic for many developers and EPCs. And then we have a full internal process and SOPs to manage vendor payments and supplier management. This is our good-looking team right here, a team that's always growing and will be growing in next year. And this team in particular is based across Africa to support your procurement needs. So if you have any questions, please just go ahead and throw them in the box or get in touch here. We can address them further at the end of the discussion today. But thank you for your attention. Now we'll be moving to the more, let's say, technical side of the discussion today. Again, it's my great honor to introduce Emmanuel Kumuyi. Emmanuel is the technical sales manager at Astronergy, and he'll be walking us through the Astro N7 PV modules and why they are the perfect solution for your next project, matched with Odyssey's construction credit and supply chain solutions. So over to you, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Justin. Let me try and share my screen. Kindly let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Just loading. There we go.
Okay.
We can see it.
Okay. Hello, everyone. You are all welcome to today's webinar. Thanks to Justin for the efforts so far to ensure that this comes into reality today. I am happy to present to you Astronergy's products and their technology and its features. So, like it's been mentioned, that if you have questions, concerns, you can have them in the chat box, while at the end of the session, we can run through your questions. So for the presentation, they are into 4 sessions. The first, I will introduce Astronergy to you, while we'll talk about product portfolio. The third session is about Astronergy one-stop service, while the last session we'll talk about some of our project cases in Africa. So this is about Chint and Astronergy. That's the entire business chain. I know most of you must have heard about Chint. Chint is our parent company. They are actually into power solution business. They do power generation, power storage, power transmission, power consumption, and all of that. That is what Chint is doing. Why Astronergy, as a subsidiary to Chint, we have our business line in two different folds. In the upstream, we are actually doing business or investment around polysilicon and silicon wafers. Sorry, I think I need to. Can you see my screen fully?
Yes.
Just okay. So, so in the downstream, we are basically into the production, manufacturing of solar cells and PV modules. Some of our key figures. So some of our key figures, let me start with the group. That's from Chint side. As of 2022, the group revenue was 18.34 billion US dollars, and that rose by 17%. So at the end of 2023, we had hit 21.54 billion US dollars. In terms of human resource, total employees worldwide, like over 45,000 in 2022. So 2023, we had already hit 50,000 plus. So for PV module side, our revenue, total revenue in 2022 was 3.02 billion US dollars, while it rose by 37% in 2023 to the tune of 4.14 billion US dollars. So as regards PV module production capacity, as at 2022, we're at 20 gigawatts, where our production capacity in 2022 was 20 gigawatts, while at the end of 2023, we had recorded, over 175% increase. That was 55 gigawatts. In terms of cell production, like I mentioned, that we're into the business of the cell and module production. So in terms of cell production capacity, we are 13 gigawatts in 2022, while at the end of 2023, with a 307% increase, we had hit 53 gigawatts. In terms of global shipment, in 2022, we had 13 gigawatts in terms of global shipment, while in 2023, we hit 30 gigawatts. That was an increase of 130%. So let us talk about Astronergy's milestones. Since inception of Astronergy, I've tried to group the milestones into different years. So between 2006 and 2008, when Astronergy was founded, we started the production of silicon cells and modules. While between 2012 and 2016, we started the construction of some automated factories in and out of China, so as to be able to meet numerous demands as demand keep increasing. Between 2018 and 2020, Astronergy rebranded, and our global shipment was able to hit 3 gigawatts. We also started mass production of PEC bifacial module, that is a P-type module. PEC, that is a passivated emitter rear contact modules. While in 2022, we're happy to be part of those OEM that actually pioneered TOPCon modules. And that same year, we introduced some of our Astro N series. We introduced new module series. And we also increased our production capacity. So in 2023, we introduced new modules of Astro N series, which are Astro N7 and Astro N7S. The S on that 7 means small modules of Astro N7. In terms of TOPCon technology, so we're able to hit the third generation of the TOPCon technology because we had to keep developing the technology. And we upgraded the features of our modules. We didn't stop in terms of capacity expansion. Here in 2024, we are currently running on the 4th generation of our TOPCon technology, and we have now infused ZBB, that is zero bus bar, to all our PV modules. And also capacity expansion keep increasing. Currently, we're in over 140 countries and regions, and our global shipment has hit 100 gigawatts. And at the moment, Astronergy construction base, our manufacturing base, they're in 11 locations. We have our manufacturing base in 11 locations. Out of these 11, there are 2 that are currently under construction. We have 1 in the United States, while a second construction base in Thailand is under construction. So at the moment, we have 2 manufacturing bases in Thailand only. So this is just to help to meet up with the demands, it's like supporting what is being produced from China, which is our head office. When it comes to bankability, for different times, Astronergy has received, we keep receiving, better ratings when it comes to, bankability. In the world of solar, there are different third-party organizations, renowned third-party organizations, that they are basically into writing reports. They give a research, survey. They do survey on, top OEM in the solar space. So this report is indicating 2 different reports from 2 organizations. One is PV Module Tech, while the other one is from Bloomberg. So from PV Module Tech, we're rated A. That was in 2023, we're rated A. Initially, when BBB, but as of 2023, we're rated A. While that of Bloomberg in 2022, we're in 7th position. And in 2023, we rose to 6th position. From these 2 reports, it shows that Astronergy is bankable. It shows that people have confirmed that our product, they are of high quality, they are reliable, and we have outstanding brand value. We talked about our product portfolio. So all the OEMs companies produce based on demand. We produce based on forecast, and you must be sensitive of the market to know the various technologies in the market and their market share. So this report, they are also from 2 organizations. One is PV Infolink, while the other one is from Bloomberg. So the one on the left side, which is from PV Infolink, they have come up with topmost cell technology, which are PEC, TOPCon, HJT, XBC, multi-tin, and tin film. While Bloomberg also review top cell technology also. So from the 2 reports, we are able to see that the share or the demand or forecast was beginning to change from PEC to TOPCon. And from this report, it's obvious that by the first quarter or first half of 2025, I am not sure if we will still have any OEM producing PEC modules. So, and that is why you can see that Astronergy was proactive enough to have come up with the pioneering of TOPCon in 2022. So as of now, TOPCon is actually leading the cell technology. Here our module iteration. Since inception, we have had different modules, ranging from our Astro 1, whose power class max then was 350 watts with a module efficiency of 70.8%. And we keep improving on the module up to currently now that we are currently promoting Astro N5, Astro N7, and Astro N8. Actually, Astro N8 is a supplement to our Astro N7. One thing you must know that in Astronergy, we produce modules that can meet up with any kind of application. Our modules can, cater for your residential solution, CNI solution, utility scale solution. Besides that, we can also customize your modules depending on your requirement. If you want probably one side black or the other one white, we can do all black modules we have just to meet up with any form of aesthetic requirement that you might need. So this is our residential module. We call it Astro NS. This Astro NS, we have two cell types that we use in the manufacturing of this module. So the wafer that we use, or the wafer size of our cell, is called 191.6 by 182.2. That is the cell dimension that we use in the manufacturing of these modules. So the 54 cells has a maximum power class of 450, while the 60 cells has a maximum power class of 500 watts. At the moment, we have tried to evolve on this module technology. Currently, we are now having the numbers of cells being reduced. That of 54 cells has now been reduced to 48 cells, and that of 60 cells has now been reduced to 54 cells. Not minding the fact that the power class still remain the same. So what is important to note here is that we only review or we upgrade the cell dimension. If you see the initial one, we're using cell dimension of 191.6 by 182. Currently, we're using 210 by 182 cell dimension. So on that, we're able to have reduced voltage level, and at the same time, it will help us to have higher string power. When you are stringing, you'll be able to get higher string power because of low cell voltage, and the possibility or probability of having less hotspot is very high, and this makes the modules to be very reliable. So for our CNI scale and utility applications, we have Astro N8, whose module efficiency is up to 23.2% with a maximum power class of 720 watts. We have Astro N7, which is integral to this webinar, whose module efficiency is 23.3%, and the maximum power class is 630. The rectangular wafer, that's what we are currently using for the cell. Also, we have our Astro N5. The Astro N5, they are into two. We have two cell type under our Astro N5. I will explain better as we progress in the presentation. So this is our Astro N8. We are using the latest TOPCon technology, which is 4.0. The power of each of the cell is 11.5 watt per pieces. For the cell efficiency, the maximum there is up to 26.5%. So this cell dimension is called G12 wafer. That is the size of the cell. We call it G12 wafer. It's a square, and you can see it's a 210 by 210. This module's weight is 38 kilograms. For a 40-foot container, you can have as much as 594 pieces in a 40-foot container. though that number will be varied depending on the contract you have with our sales manager. Like I mentioned, that the maximum power class is 720, between 695 to 720. So what is unique here is that the numbers of cells for this module is 66. You can see what we have at the top here, CHSM, that is Chin Solar Module. The module is comprised of 66 cells and is an N-type. It's an N-type TOPCon module. The DG here represents double glass. It has frame, is also bifacial. That means it can generate power from both sides of the panel. While the H means it's half-cut cell. The dimension of this module is a bit bigger than the conventional one because of the size. Is 1308 by 2384. So it's a bit bigger than the normal module. So the technical advantages of this module, they are the right side here, high maximum power and high efficiency, very reliable with double glass, and they are equipped with super multi-bus bar. They can generate very well. These modules, one thing about them is early in the morning, they can generate very early in the morning, and they can also generate late into the dusk. You can get a low BOS, and that is a balance of a system, and at the same time, you have a reduced levelized cost of energy. So at the end of the day, you're going to get reduced system cost. For our Astro N7 that everybody is waiting to know more about, yes, we have actually mentioned that our Astro N7, the numbers of a cell, they are also 66 cells. You can see that we are devising the same technology with that of Astro N8. So it has is a bifacial half-cut module. At the same time, it's a double glass module. The maximum power class of our Astro N7 is 630. You can have from 600 to 630. You can see the width size is 1134. This is normal, 1134 by 2382. So the name of this wafer is called M10 wafer because it's 182 by 210. See, the module weight is actually not much. It's just 32.8 kilogram. And now one good thing about this is that for a 40-foot container, you can have up to 720 pieces. So the technical advantages of this still remain as what we have for our Astro N8. So this is one of the reasons why we are actually promoting Astro N7 for your CNI and high-scale utility projects. We also have Astro N5. Our Astro N5 is also equipped with ZBB. Like I mentioned, that all our modules, they are now equipped with ZBB. That means they are of 0 bus bar. So like I mentioned, that we have 2 cell types in our Astro N5. The first one is 72 cell, while the second one is a 78 cell. So they vary in terms of size and in terms of power class. For the 72 cells, you can see that the range of power class is between 580 to 600 using rectangular wafer. And at the same time, you can have up to 720 pieces in one 40-foot container. It has a unique feature, which is called light redirecting film. Also, for the double glass, for the 78 cells module, it has same features, but the difference is that this is bigger than that of 72 because the numbers of cells, they are more than that of 72 cells. So the power class range is from 625 to 650, and the maximum you could get for a 40-foot container is 576. All other features remain same. We also do RSD, is actually optional. That is a rapid shutdown device. In case you want to have that, maybe for your residential installation, you want to have such. It all depends on the capacity of installation and the nature of the project. So we have this available. So for our fourth generation of TOPCon, we have introduced a technology called optimized metallization. So the optimized metallization is simply about advanced firing technology plus improved silver paste composition. This is the design side of it. So the purpose of this is for us to be able to reduce damage to the passivation layer. So that is the purpose of introducing this technology, so as to reduce damage to the passivation layer and also to improve contact resistivity. So all of this is geared towards ensuring that in the production process, anything like impurities, moistures, they are completely away from the cell, so as not to affect the performance, the overall performance of the module at the end of the day. So we are able to achieve a better VOC and a fill factor, resulting to an improved efficiency. Here is our unique technology that is called light redirecting film. If you take a look at the module, while I touch, you can see at the interconnection point here. I don't know if you can see, I'm doing it again so you can see what I'm trying to, the picture I'm trying to paint. So ordinarily or before now, this interconnection point, all of these white points, they actually don't generate anything. Astronergy came up with this light redirecting film, whose surface is wavy in nature. They are at angle 120 degrees to each other. When light rays falls on this module this way, can you see? Can you see? Let me do that again. Can you see? When it falls on this film part, it's now redirect back to other parts of the cell, and with this, the front power is able to garner additional 2 watts, while back shading is reduced by a negative of 30%. And energy yield, you are going to get additional 0.5%. So that is the beauty of this light redirecting film. And what are we trying to achieve? To ensure that our modules are better performed. So our Astro N series, initially we're using 11 numbers of bus bar on the cells. Currently, we have increased the numbers of bus bars on the cells to 16. So the gain of this, or the importance of the benefits of this, they are in 2 different folds. We have reliability gain and electrical gain. As regards reliability gain, so this will help because there are we have increased the numbers of bus bars on the cells. It will help to get a better tolerance for hidden cracks and broken grids, and at the same time we are going to experience more uniform stress. Why? Because of the increased numbers of weld joints on the main grid lines, because these are the main grid lines, while the fingers or the grid lines, they are the ones you can hardly see. But those are the main grid lines. So that is the reliability gain. In terms of electrical gain, because we have had increased numbers of bus bars, the current transmission part becomes shortened. And at the end of the day, it's going to help us to reduce series resistance, which will also lead to a reduction in cell power loss. And we are going to get improved module efficiency. That is the aim of introducing super multi or smart multi-bus bar into our N series. Also, I am very much aware that some of our peers they use single layer coated glass technology. but Astronergy, we're actually deploying double layer coated glass technology for our modules. So how do we achieve this? From the right side, for the upper layer, we are using a closed hole film that helps to improve light transmittance. That is what we are using for the upper layer. We are also using a dense silicon oxide layer that can help to effectively reduce or isolate completely water vapor on that layer. So those are the reasons why we are using two layer coated glass. And at the end of the day, we'll be able to get, we'll be able to, ensure that our modules, they perform very well. Also, we are using these layers because they have different refractive index. So because they have different refractive index, we are able to gain a better light transmission. And that's why you see from the left side, using this illustration here, you see the one in green, that's the double layer, is above the single layer. In terms of light transmission, we are able to gain 0.3% using double layer as against using single layer. Additional benefits of this is that it helps to increase module power. If you are getting additional 0.3%, and it makes your module to be more reliable in terms environmentally now, makes the module to be more reliable. So that is the advantage of using high transmittance double glass layers for our modules. As regards linear and product warranty, yeah, all of our modules, they are 30 years power warranty for sure. For either workmanship warranty or maintenance warranty, we have 15 years for our big modules, and for our small modules, we have 25 years. The first degradation of our N-type TOPCon module is less than 1%, while the linear degradation, or we call it annual degradation, is 0.4%. We can now talk about a one-stop service that is being rendered by Astronergy. So this one-stop service is actually a unique service because I know I've worked in other OEMs before joining Astronergy. So this one-stop service, it starts from when we get requirements or requests rather from either OEM or either distributor or EPC. We are able to support them, to be able to get propose a better solution. Sometimes customers, they already have a choice in terms of the type of products to use for the kind of project they want to undergo. But by the time they send the request to us, technically, we'll be able to review, do configuration, and revert back to the customer if what they were initially looking at actually fitting or matching perfectly, with the project. So we do that at the pre-sales level. In terms of sales process, yes, we have our sales managers that they are able to give our customers a good deal. Our prices are competitive. Also, as regards after sales, yes, I know recently I visited as far as one of the presidents of our one-stop service. I recently visited a site just to support the customer, because after procurement, as part of a one-stop service, even before you get delivery of the modules, I had already engaged all the employees and the technical staff to explain to them how to handle, how to offload and unload the modules, how to install and how to maintain module, and also when you are carrying out a deployment on site, how do you handle modules? All of these trainings we do give to our customers, just to ensure that to support them from beginning to the end. And when it comes to customers having issues, we are always there to attend to them. We do site visits to be able to double check where the errors are or where the fault actually emanated from. When it comes to supporting our distributors with marketing, materials, commercial, and all of that, yes, Astronergy is actually doing a top-notch service regarding that. So our one-stop service technical we spread across the globe, but at the moment we are on the verge of hiring a human resource in the United States and that of Australia. I know the purpose of this webinar is for Africa, but it's good you know. So in Africa, you won't have issues when it comes to any form of support, either technical or non-technical. So we talk about some of our project cases within sub-Saharan Africa. So in South Africa, yes, Astronergy modules have been deployed. Here they have used our modules. They will use 20. It was a site of a 28 megawatt peak in South Africa. Also in Uganda, we have had 137 kilowatt peak. This is a distributed solution. In Zambia, we have had 60 megawatts. In Egypt, we have had sites in different locations within Egypt up to 165.5 megawatt peak. Also in Morocco, you can see 3 different locations here, totaling 177 megawatt peak. Okay, I think before the last one, in Nigeria, I'm in Nigeria. So in Nigeria, we have had Astronergy modules being used for many mini grids, residential, applications. So I think that brings me to the end of the presentation. So if there are inquiries, you can add, you can kindly, share your thoughts, through the mail IDs and telephone numbers that have displayed. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Emmanuel. What an informative presentation, and really interesting to see the depth of advancements with Astronergy's panels. Feel like it was just yesterday we were looking at, different type panels, P-type, lower efficiencies, and we're now we're now where we are, 700 and above. It's pretty amazing for the sector. Thanks so much. I think we'll now move into Q&A. So please feel free to share some of your questions. And we can even unmute you if you'd like to just raise your hand. Looks like we have our first question from Sodipo. So feel free to come in. Go ahead and unmute Sodipo. Not sure if we can unmute on our side.
Yeah, sorry, I think that was an error. Not that I have a question. I think it was a mistake that I raised my hand. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
No problem.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm saying that it's not as if I have a question. I think it was an error when I tapped the icon.
No problem.
But anyways, I think it was a very nice presentation by Emmanuel, and it's very good for us to actually know more about what the stand of Astronergy is in the PV industry in Africa. So thank you so much, Emmanuel, for the nice presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just an admin note, indeed, the presentation and the slides shared will be available on Odyssey's website. So feel free to, we'll be sharing them and follow up to the presentation. I believe you'll even receive a notification for those attendees that it's available. So stay tuned and you'll be able to access it. I think we may have stumped the audience. They're so amazed at all of the offerings from Astronergy, Emmanuel, that they may not have any questions at this moment. Oh, here we go. We have one from Jalili. Please feel free to come in.
Yeah, good day.
You are welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Emmanuel Kumuyi, thanks for the beautiful presentation. So my name is Aziz Jelili from Ajat Aguala Limited, Ajat Solar Systems. Number one, I would like to have the recording of the presentation because of the technical terms and the technical details of the presentation. The presentation is very well technical. Also, you made mention that your company has moved from PEC panels to TOPCon, if I get you very well. So,
That's
in
correct.
terms of technicality, what's the major advantage in this type of shift? Because to me, we still believe PEC panels are the recent panels that we have, but you unravel us that there is TOPCon now that is even far more better than PEC panels. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jelili. Yeah. Now, lately, the use or the switch from PEC to TOPCon, I think is no longer a news because in terms of technology, TOPCon is far better than PEC. The difference is a lot. Let me just start with this. The first year degradation of a PEC module is 2%. While that of TOPCon is mostly 1 or less than 1, whereas the linear degradation is 0. Minimum you have in any OEM is 0.5 or 0.45. Yeah, we have some that are 0.55. So on that note, TOPCon is better than PEC. Besides that, in terms of efficiency, TOPCon is better than has a better efficiency when it comes to it has a better efficiency than PEC module. Also, besides that, in terms of reliability, TOPCon has better reliability because of the latest innovation inherent in it. It has a better reliability than that of PEC type module. And like I've displayed, earlier on, that we have tried to innovate. Take, for example, the innovation or the introduction of light radiating film. You could not get that from PEC module, but in TOPCon, that is in existence. So which will help you to get additional power, and you get a better energy yield. So I think the advantages is enormous, and that's why you see currently the numbers of OEM that are currently deploying or manufacturing TOPCon, they are really, they are more. In fact, let me give you a quick one. Like I mentioned, that in terms of a temperature coefficient, if you install a PEC module and a TOPCon module side by side on the roof somewhere, you just go and check what you get around 10 a.m. in the morning. You discover that let's even say by 7 a.m. in the morning, you discover that what the TOPCon must have generated as of 7 a.m. in the morning is far more than what the PEC must have generated. And like I mentioned, that it can also generate late into the evening. Dusk, it can still generate because it has very, the temperature coefficient is really high. So those are the advantages, and that's why the OEM are doing that part. All of first tier 1 module manufacturers, they are mostly deploying TOPCon modules. I don't know if that meets your understanding.
Yes, that's good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, wonderful. Looks like you have some support here, Emmanuel, from your colleagues about the question about which PV module is best for industrial purposes. And I see your colleague Emmanuel's answered the Astro N7 is good for industrial purposes. However, you can use, you can share the site details with them, with your team, to carry out some better advice and maybe do some modulations. Would you like to add anything to that, Emmanuel?
Sorry, let me see that. Okay, you mean this, Mr. Emmanuel, your presentation is really informative and educative. Please kindly specify the best PV module for industrial purposes. Yes, like I've rightly mentioned, any of our modules, either our Astro N5, our Astro N7, yes, you can use them for, they are perfect for your industrial applications. But what is key is that wherever you place a request, we will also, share a kind of a checklist with you, so we can get certain information and we can use that information provided, to propose the best power class now. To propose the best power class, because sometimes that is very important to know where you actually want to deploy the module. So that is very key before we propose any solution to you. So, but generally, overall, Astro N7 is top notch for such.
Wonderful, thank you, Emmanuel. I'll take the last question in Q&A related to Odyssey's credit solutions. The question is, what happens when you have financed an EPC and their client is not satisfied and at the end instructs the EPC to uninstall the system? Well, in such event, so Odyssey will perform due diligence both on the EPC and the end client in advance of entering into any credit arrangement. So we would try to mitigate such a scenario as best as possible, and beyond obviously the state of the financials of the client as well as the EPC, we will look at the progress milestone payments. So in this scenario, it's very important that the milestone payments will at least cover the CapEx. So for instance, if the client's milestone payments with the EPC are 20% upfront, 50% on commissioning, and then the balance 30% after 3 months of the project to make sure that everything's working smoothly.
Hello?
So Odyssey's CapEx financing would be taken out after the commissioning. Which is very important to our structuring, because we recognize that the majority of project costs are actually the CapEx. So that's one situation in which we would not try to have this scenario happen. Otherwise, we'd have to legally pursue the receipt of the equipment, which would still belong to Odyssey in such an unfortunate scenario. But we have a lot of mechanisms in place to ensure that wouldn't happen. Thanks for the question. All right,
Yes,
so
I
think
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see a question. Yeah, I can see a question. Someone is asking. We want to know. That is, I want to know if there be any health implications to humans with the rise of these new technologies, radiance, materials, upgrade, and the likes. Okay, as it's been confirmed by scientists so far, that installation of modules on our rooftops, ground mounting installations, they pose no harm to humans at the moment. We have not had any negative reports when it comes to effects of having these modules installed on our rooftop. They are actually eco-friendly. That is what we have. They are actually eco-friendly. In fact, it is better to have all of these modules installed on our roof, because it will since we know that the national grid, most of the country within Africa does not have a stable power supply. So if we have modules installed, it will reduce the CO2, CO2 emission in our society. So that will make us to be more healthy than having generators here and there. So for now, we have not gotten any negative report as to the negative implication of having solar panels installed on our roofs. And then every OEM has a process for recycle, for whoever that procures our module. If it's time to swap, you need to return the module to the distributor. So, and on a yearly basis, we have a way of recycling our module. So, for now, it's actually safe.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. I think there's one more question we could answer quickly. It's about the MC4 connections. I know we've gone over time a little bit, but maybe we can just answer that and then close it out. So the question is, does Astronergy restrict a specific MC4 to be connected to the panel? And if so, does it affect the warranty when a different MC4 is used?
No, there is no restriction. For our modules, we have options in terms of the connector you want to use. But primarily, we don't use MC4. But if you have special requests that you want directly MC4, yes, we make that available for you. What is key is that the connector you are using can match with the connection with the connectors you have on the module. That is fine.
Makes sense. Wonderful. All right. I think on that note, thank you everyone for joining today. Please feel free with more questions offline. You can contact both Emmanuel and I via the website that was shared. We'll be sharing the presentations today and the recording of this presentation, so you can access that from the Odyssey website. We have full teams available to support you in your next project, so please don't hesitate to get in touch. With that said, wishing everyone a great holiday season. Thank you again, Emmanuel. Thank you to all our partners and everyone that made this possible internally. And look forward to seeing you next time on the next webinar.
Thank you all. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.